Hi guys, so I wanted to do a bit of a chatty video today because in a selfish way I find it kind of soothing for me and quite cathartic, but I always feel like I can connect with you a bit more when I have a chance to really delve into these things in depth and not kind of just gloss over them in a snappy, easily digestible way, I guess. I was just pondering, because January is coming to a close, and for me it seems like an incredibly long month. It seems to have dragged a bit, but almost in a good way, because it meant that I had a few more days to kind of save it, because I think January hasn't delivered everything I hoped it would, and I think I'm probably not alone in that. It's just the whole thing that, you know, January's meant to be a clean slate, a fresh start, a new chapter. And I understand why that is, because it's a very neat and tidy way to, you know, start a new thing, change your mindset, make changes, because it's, you know, the first month of a new year. It makes sense mentally to kind of do it in that way. And I think obviously the media and bloggers and stuff and just society makes you think that you should be very focused on, you know, resolutions, goals, destination points, and I think it puts a lot of pressure on us actually, that if January, I don't know, maybe we don't stick to our plans, or things don't go to plan, or you don't tick off certain things off your goals list for January, by the end of it you could feel a little bit deflated, a bit like a failure, or like you've let yourself down. I don't know, that's why I have a slight issue with goals and resolutions. Obviously I think it's great to have focus, and I think it's good to be optimistic and have, you know, positive, you know, hopes and dreams and things like that. I do think it's dangerous to only see it as a pass or fail, or a success or non-success, when usually what happens is somewhere in the middle. I wrote a blog post about it recently, about can we ever be satisfied, and the problem with goals is it's so much about, you know, reaching that final point, and the reality is it's the in-between stuff that's the important stuff. In whether you have like down points, some negative points, some stressful points in between that point, you're always learning during that phase. You're always progressing in some way, even if it doesn't feel like progress, because you're learning that, okay, that didn't work, I'm not good at that, or that doesn't suit me, or that's not the right route. But we're so obsessed with reaching the final point that we're not seeing that, and we're not also enjoying the little successes, the little joys, the little wins on the way, because we think, well, we're not at the final point, we haven't reached the ultimate goal yet, so we can't really celebrate. And really we should celebrate all the little, there could be tiny wins that you have in your day, the little tiny great little gems that happen. Maybe something just is a bit easier than you thought it was going to be. Perhaps you don't get ignored on an email, someone actually takes the time to reply. Perhaps you get a tweet from someone saying, oh, that was really good that you did that. Perhaps you just got enjoyment out of it. What I'm just saying is, I think we're all just so obsessed with ticking things off lists and reaching ultimate goals and what we deem ultimate successes, that we're not celebrating the ones that are just as valid and just as important. I firmly believe that we should put a lot of emphasis on the quest and the journey, and that actually that is the enriching stuff, that is the good stuff. Because I know I found, if I get the thing that I think I've always wanted, or the thing that I deem as the ultimate goal or the ultimate dream or the wish, I inevitably just conjure up the next thing that I want, or the next thing that I feel will make me happier, or the next thing that will make me feel content and satisfied. And so you don't even get much time to like really soak in that you've achieved that goal or accomplished something pretty amazing, or just something that you've wanted to do in ages. To put it in plain speak, think for a while my ultimate goal was to reach 10k on here, and I was so happy that day and thought, yes, I've finally done it. I've achieved that goal, I can relax a bit now, things are going to be fine. But, you know, within a couple of days I was thinking, right, now I've got to get to 15k, and then you've got other people telling you you should be wanting more, that, you know, oh, I don't know, that's another thing. How much of the things that you think you want are actually what you want, or are they governed by what you think you should want because you see other people striving for certain things or wanting certain things, and it makes you think, oh, perhaps I should want that too. But ask yourself, do you actually want that? Does that fit in with the person you are? Does it fit in with what you know makes you happy? I've talked, like I said, I've talked about this more in depth on my blog post, but yeah, give it a read. But I just wanted to do this video because I don't want anyone to come to the end of January and think, I guess I just wanted to do this video because I didn't want anyone to reach the end of January and think they've let themselves down, that they've failed, because it's just a month in the calendar. It doesn't actually mean anything. You could decide that February you want to change your mindset, or February you want to make new changes. Nothing's saying you have to do it in January. We don't need to listen to what, you know, is the norm or what habit tells us we should be doing. We can start these new changes whenever we want. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're human. You're allowed to have slip-ups. You can be infallible. You can have wobbles. You can have those months where, say perhaps January, because you're dealing with SAD, the weather has been so grim, you found it really hard to be motivated. Maybe just accept that, okay, this wasn't your month, and you know, things are going to be better next month, and you can see how they're going to be better next month. And don't spend time focusing on what you haven't done and what you should have done. That time's gone. Think about what you can be doing now. Changes you can be making now, things that you feel you are ready to do now. I sometimes hate these chats because it sounds like I'm trying to be like a guru or something, and clearly I'm making all this up as I go along. I don't know what I'm doing, otherwise I would be in a lot better situation. But what I'm just trying to say is that what's done is done, what's happened has happened, and us constantly going over it in our heads and beating ourselves up about it isn't going to get us anywhere. And we should just be like, okay, January I didn't do that, that didn't happen, I could have been better at that, but that's done. I'm going to make changes now. I'm going to do this now, or at least I'm going to try. Trying is good. I said that I wanted this year that I would be a bit more selfish and focus on my own career and really, you know, allocate time to do the work I want to do. And I have to be honest, that's not happened because it just so happens that Sai's first event is in January, and this is a new business, so he's needed a hell of a lot of support. Most of my day is spent supporting him, helping him with his stuff, because he's scared, he's daunted. This is out of his comfort zone, and I want to help him with that. But it does mean that all my stuff has gotten put on the back burner for a bit, and I could see that as me failing my goals and aims and resolutions for January. But you can choose to see it in a different way as well, that I've helped the person I love to reach his dream, and then, you know, in future months I'm sure things will even out a bit, and you know, I'll get there with my own stuff as well, and this is the right thing to do now, actually. So I think from now on, I know what my goals are. I don't need to constantly write them down as a checklist or a tick list of what I want. I know in my head what I want. So I think instead, moving forward, I'm gonna, every day that I have, I'm gonna think, what did I do today that was helpful to me? And it might not seem something that is instantly positive or happy, but it might have brought me closer to a realization of something. It might have brought me closer to working out what I don't want to do or a route I don't want to take. It might have been an awful day, but I realized that I've been fairly resilient, and that's a positive step. there's always a way you can look at it in a way that means you've learned something, that it's been educational, that perhaps it's been enriching. Perhaps you've had a crappy moment, but it's made you more empathetic towards someone else who's going through something. Perhaps you made a new connection with someone that you haven't had before, that you can see being a positive thing in your life down the line. Who knows? But I think we just all need to give ourselves a break. You know, this isn't a race. There's no one way of doing things. There isn't a timeline anymore of when you should do things by. I know there's things we want to do by a certain point, but we know now that things get in the way. This clear plan that we have is often thwarted by obstacles and things going in the road and stuff like that that we don't see coming. And you just have to be adaptable and resilient and pick yourself up again and go, oh, well, that path was a bit too chaotic and full of crap. So maybe I'll try this route for a bit and see how that goes. Same might happen again. I think we just got to roll with the punches a bit more and be kinder to ourselves and celebrate the small victories, and remember that there's always tomorrow, there's always next month, and if we feel like we're a bit off track now, if we feel like things aren't in our favour, if we feel like there's changes to be made, there's still time to do this. Don't think that because January's over, you've then failed for the rest of the year. That's a ridiculous way of thinking, even though we do this to ourselves. Are there any of you guys out there that are thinking already, just in January, this year's not going to be my year, or oh, I've already failed my resolutions or my goals or whatever, and feeling a bit blue about it? Tell me honestly in the comments below, are there any of you that have set resolutions or goals and you've already, you know, failed them or gone off track or let yourself down? I say let yourself down, you haven't let yourself down, but in your head let yourself down. And what are you doing to get yourself out of that negative, beat yourself up mindset? I want to know what you're doing to try and get yourself out of that mindset and realise that you're not a bad person. That January can be incredibly hard for a lot of people. We have to remind ourselves that January can be incredibly tough. Like I said earlier, there's the weather, it's constantly raining, it's grey when you get up in the morning. Seeing that it's practically still dark outside, it doesn't exactly make you feel raring to go and like super like upbeat and peppy. It's just sometimes not realistic. Some of you will have overspent during the Christmas period or in the January sales and be struggling for money. Perhaps you're waiting for payday and you're just feeling really stressed. Perhaps some of you are on diets because of overeating at Christmas, or you really had this plan to get fit and go to the gym every day and it hasn't quite happened. Maybe some of you have started new jobs and maybe they're not quite what you thought they'd be, or perhaps you're taking a while to settle in. I'm just saying that some of these things, some of these changes that we want to make, you can't expect them to happen straight away. Sometimes they're a process. Sometimes you have to go through some fails to really grasp onto them and make them a permanent change. Sometimes you just need a bit more support from the people around you to manage to do it as well. So if you need to speak up about that and just get some more help, do that so that February perhaps will be a bit easier for you. Like I said, I just wanted to do this video because I don't want anyone to leave January thinking it was a bloody waste of time and they didn't get anything out of it, because I guarantee there's something to be had out of it. And really, yeah, you might have to rack your brain, but I guarantee you can think of something positive, something you learned, that you can carry forward for the rest of the year, and all is not lost. It's just a month. Today is just a day. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. Once again, this was an unstructured ramble from me, but the message is, give yourself a break and let's just do all we can to try and smash February. But we're all just work in progresses, and work in progresses, you know what I'm trying to say. We are all, I think we will continue to be work in progresses, and that is the way it should be, because as soon as you stop evolving, as soon as you stop learning, then you're just stagnant, aren't you? And even if you never reach whatever your dream goal is, as long as you're getting something, then that's something. Oh, I wish I was more poetic. I'm never going to be one of those people that has their quotes turned into memes, am I? I'm never going to be one of those inspiring quote people. But hopefully you will get the gist of what I'm saying. Yeah, I'll see you in a video soon. Leave your grumbles about January below and what you're going to do about them, and let's help each other out. Okay, thanks for watching. Salam! God, I'm really hot.